You're, you know, I hate to say this because I love you, but you're kind of evil.
Don't talk about things you don't understand.
How do you survive a childhood where love was never safe? Succession doesn't give us the answer, but it shows us what happens when you don't. If you've ever felt like love was something you had to earn, you'll recognize what the Roys are going through. So if you grew up in a family where being good enough meant ticking the right boxes or keeping the peace, this might hit harder than you expect. I'm Dr. Patrick Kingsep, clinical psychologist, and I've spent years working with people who grew up in families like this, where love, it just didn't feel safe, and you were always bracing for something to go wrong. And today, through Succession, we will look at how emotional neglect and psychological manipulation turned the Roy children into what they are, and why. Now, Logan Roy didn't raise his children.
He made me and my 3 siblings.
He trained them. From the very first scene of Succession, we see it. The kids playing tennis, posing, performing. And their father, Logan Roy, is always off in the distance. Logan always shows affection as a tool. He tells Shiv she's going to be CEO, then just denies ever having said it. He elevates Kendall one moment, humiliates him the next.
3 years ago, you were still in the nut house.
Rehab. Dad, it's called rehab. And I'm in recovery.
It's all good.
He tears Roman down until Roman starts to crave the humiliation.
Look, I swear to God, Dad, if you bring him back, I am walking. Back to my office to sulk. Fuck.
Fine. I don't fucking care.
This is classical conditional attachment. Love is never safe. It has to be earned, and even then, it might be taken away at any moment.
I changed my mind, Kendall.
When? When exactly? Because it feels like you fucked me.
A child raised this way doesn't stop wanting love. They just stop believing they deserve it. So they look for power instead. They learn to treat love like a transaction. So maybe you know what that feels like. The fear that any warmth you get might be taken away at the second you let your guard down or stop giving that other person what they want. And that really changes a person, sometimes permanently. Kendall, Roman, Shiv, they all cope differently, but the common denominator is the same: emotional starvation. Kendall turns to drugs, not because he wants to rebel, but because he can't sit with the emptiness. He throws himself into relationships or big plans only to sabotage them. And when Logan gives him just a hint of affection, Kendall soaks it up like his life depends on it.
He loves me. He does. I think it's just a wrong kind of love expression.
Yeah.
The moment his father turns cold again, Kendall spirals. He wants to destroy his father, but he also wants to be him and be with him.
Did you ever think I could do it?
The top job.
You can say.
You know, you're smart, you're good, but you're not a killer.
Then there's Roman.
I think it should be me, but if you don't think I'm ready, okay.
He turns the degrading actions of his father into a form of arousal. His attraction to Jerry is less about sex and more about their dynamic. He has so little self-worth. He's almost like sexualized the powerlessness.
Go on. And you will stay in there until you have done something with yourself.
Humiliation becomes a strange form of attention to him, a substitute for love. And Shiv, she keeps everyone at a distance. Even her marriage to Tom feels more like strategy than connection.
I'm with you because I love you!
Bullshit! You're fucking me for my DNA!
She controls intimacy by withholding it.
I could see if I can make love to you.
Would you like to? I don't think so, Tom.
She's afraid to be seen because she's learned early on that being vulnerable is dangerous. She can manage power, but she can't manage emotion.
I don't like you. I don't even care about you. Glad we cleared the air, huh? Feel good now?
Yeah.
And when love is weaponized, any form of connection becomes threatening. And to survive, each of them has to learn to distort their needs in different ways.
You disgusting little pig. You're pathetic. You are a revolting little worm, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Because in the Roy family, the only thing worse than being ignored is being seen.
Whatever you three decide goes. Goodbye.
Connor.
On the trust, I refuse to play. I don't want to engage. I'm water. I flow.
And here's the part that I think people miss in Succession. They're not acting out. They're actually adapting to how their family operates. Even when Logan is physically present, he's emotionally absent. The family gathers, but he stays silent. Watches, he judges, he controls. This is called ambiguous attachment. The child never knows where they stand. One moment they're praised, the next moment they're punished.
Do you want to hit me? Is that it? Huh? Go on. Go on. Give it your best shot.
It creates hypervigilance, a constant scanning of everything around them for signs of safety or danger.
Are you gonna fucking cry? Kendall, are you fucking crying?
Children who grow up like this learn to internalize chaos. And the way that this operates is that they second guess themselves. They develop anxiety disorders, such as panic attacks, and carry shame that was never theirs to begin with. Now, Roman shrinks in his chair during the vote of no confidence. Shiv is gaslit about her future at the company. Kendall launches public attacks on his father, and then immediately begs for forgiveness.
The truth is that my father is a malignant presence, a bully and a liar, and he was fully personally aware of these events for many years and made efforts to hide and cover up.
There's no real sense of self in any of these actions.
So you don't think that you owe us an explanation?
I don't owe you anything. No.
What have you had your entire life that I didn't give you?
And when all your energy goes into managing someone else's emotions, there's nothing left for your own. And when Logan finally disappears, they don't feel free. And now that he's gone, there's nothing left to push against. Now, I've worked with so many people like this in therapy. On the outside, they've got it together. They're smart, they're high achieving, even admired. But underneath it, there's often still that same child inside, quietly waiting for a parent to finally say, "You did enough. You are enough." And it doesn't matter how successful you are. If the love you needed as a kid felt like it had to be earned, there's a good chance you're still trying to earn it now. If you grew up feeling like love only came when you performed and achieved or kept quiet, you're not alone.
It's not my fault that you didn't get his approval. I have given you endless approval, and it doesn't fill you up because you're broken.
The Roy children don't know who they are without their father, so they try to become him. Power becomes their way of finding a sense of self, but it's not based on values or direction. It's taken from whoever has the upper hand at the time.
It's like you and your dad have finally admitted how much you're into each other. Now you can, not this, but now you can bang.
Connor, the oldest but most overlooked, throws himself into a presidential campaign, not because he thinks he'll win, but because it's the only way that he feels seen.
Okay, everyone in this room thinks you're a fucking joke. So tell your wife to shut the fuck up.
There's one person here who doesn't think I'm a joke.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who I'm going to listen to.
That's smart.
Roman acts like he doesn't care, but the second anyone expects real leadership, he folds because deep down he doesn't believe he can do it. And Shiv keeps everyone at arm's length.
I wonder if the sad I'd be without you would be less than the sad I get from being with you.
She grew up believing that letting anyone in would mean giving up power, and that's always felt way too risky. She stays sharp and even untouchable, even with Tom, because closeness feels unsafe.
Should I go? Or are you gonna go?
I'm tired, so... But you can stay there if you like.
Okay.
And Kendall? He keeps switching roles, trying to be the hero one moment and burning everything down the next, because he still doesn't know who he is without his father's approval.
I would just ask that you take care of me, because if Dad didn't need me right now, I don't exactly know what I would be for.
Now, what we as clinical psychologists call this is narcissistic mirroring. It's when a child grows up without ever feeling truly seen or accepted by a parent. So instead of developing a solid sense of self, they start chasing reflections of who they think they should be. They look for worth in how they're seen through success and charm and control or status. And that's exactly what we see with the Roy kids. They're not building a legacy. They're trying to feel like they exist. That's why they need the company. Not because they care about media or legacy, but because without that stage, they don't know who they are.
Let me out, okay? Pay up and let me out. I don't want to be you. I'm a good guy.
They were raised to win, to compete, to impress and survive. Being human came second. But the more they win, the emptier it feels.
Everybody thinks you're a joke. And you're fucking embarrassing me.
Right. Right. Thanks for your honesty.
Tom and Greg weren't raised in the Roy family, but they chose this world and they had to survive it. Tom begins as someone trying to play nice, polite, eager to please, wanting some version of love and success. But the longer he stays, the more he realizes that warmth doesn't work. So he adapts. He learns to insult, manipulate, dominate, and by the end he does it pretty well. And what does that cost him? He becomes the very thing he once tried to impress. Think about what he does to Greg. He mocks him, he belittles him, he gets physical and even threatens him just to feel powerful. But maybe the worst thing, he uses Greg's desperation for approval against him, dangling love or opportunity and then just yanking it away. Tom's not surviving now. He's doing what was done to him. And Greg is our window in. At first he reacts like we might. Awkward, uncomfortable, almost embarrassed by how cold this family is.
Not just my last 20.
That's fine, thanks.
I just got mugged by Shiv.
He looks around and knows that something it isn't right. But over time, that part of him fades.
What precisely are Greg sprinkles?
Greg sprinkles are basically a fantastic garnish to basically anyone seated at this table. Who cares?
I'm more than a sprinkle.
He starts shredding documents, playing both sides, and laughing at things he once flinched at. He doesn't become Logan, but he tries to become just Roy enough to stay in the game.
Greg Hirsch.
Hi.
Greg. ATN with Tom.
Greg.
But yeah, Tom
stupid,
called it.
Stupid.
And I relayed
Fuck off,
the call, so.
Greg is what happens when someone doesn't belong to this kind of system, but still adapts to it. He wants to be liked, but also to survive. And that means learning how to split the difference, even if it eats away at who he used to be. That's what this family system does. It doesn't change you all at once. It chips away at you until you're barely recognizable, even to yourself. Tom and Greg weren't raised like the Roy kids, but the longer they stayed, the more they understood. This is a world where you either learn to bite or you get eaten. And over time, losing a piece of yourself starts to feel normal. In families like this, survival isn't about love. It's about learning who not to be. Succession isn't just about the rich. It's about what's left of you when love was never part of the deal. It's a warning. This is what happens when kids grow up without safety, without love, and without any model for how to be human. They don't outgrow it. They just get better at hiding it. They compete instead of connect, hurt others to feel in control, and build empires hoping it'll finally make them feel whole. So I have a question for you. Who do you think was the most broken by Logan? And who, if anyone, had a real shot at escaping it? And maybe you saw something of yourself in one of them. Now please drop a comment below, even just a sentence. I'll be reading them. And I know others will too. And if this video hits you in a way you didn't expect, share it with someone who might need to hear it too.